before, we actually added just some water in a pan and we're waiting for it to heat up. So we need some chocolate, especially some dark chocolate. The higher the cacao content for the chocolate, the better it is. So we have here a chocolate with around 60 to 70% cacao, and I will show you that. You open that, you see very dark, very yummy chocolate. You want to try some?
Yeah, why not?
See, you don't even have to use it all, you can eat it during. All you do is you break it up, or as another famous chef in England say, you whack it. And you use it and you smash it. You need little pieces, because if it's smaller, it melts easier. So we're doing around 100 grams of chocolate in there. It's good enough for 2 people easily. And you have even something left what you can use, make some hot cacao, hot chocolate, things like that, if you have something left over. So all we're doing, is basically breaking up some chocolate. And as you see, the water is starting to boil. All we do is we're setting it on top of the water. The water will basically melt the chocolate slowly and consistently. And you can actually take it off the steam and control the heat this way.
I'm using 2 different oils to fry to sear off the pork loin. A little bit of corn oil and a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil that we bought earlier. That's just for flavor. The milk is getting warm now. It's almost ready to boil. You don't want it to get too hot. So I'm going to lower the temperature a little bit. And then what you want to do is, when you're making polenta, you don't want to just dump it in and make wallpaper paste. You want to slowly whisk and then rain it in. And so now you want to slowly cook this for about 20 minutes.
And get somebody like me, underpaid, who just do the stirring.
Nice and steady, not constant, on a nice low heat. You can always add a little bit more milk if you need to, but at the end you're going to be adding cheese and walnuts, so it'll get much softer as well.
But look at the consistency here already.
That looks a little bit more milk.
Yep.
And let that cook nice and slowly.
And we reduce the heat now to around 4. So slowly we're taking the heat down.
Okay, so our pan is starting to shimmer a little bit in the olive oil, and we're just about ready to put the pork in. And what you want to do is crisp that up on all the sides. Roll it around after it sears.
I'm taking one of the strawberries and I'm actually pulling down the green. So basically you just put the green back. Because later on when you dip it, you can have something you can hold on and you can nicely have some wrist action to basically put it into the chocolate. I'll show you later on.
So after you've crisped up the top side, you're going to turn it 90 degrees and get the ham nice and crispy on all the sides. The nice thing about this prosciutto around the pork is that you don't have to tie it. It's so thin that when it crisps up around the pork loin, it sticks right to it. And you'll see when it comes out of the oven, it stays perfectly in line.
That looks good.
Just going to sear off the last side.
So you get it nice and crispy and you preserve all the juices inside of the meat.
Absolutely. And then, this is the nicest side here, which was the bottom. And you're going to leave it like this and throw it right into the oven. And now, we're going to take the gorgonzola cheese that we bought earlier, add that, and then off the heat, stir it in. So what you have is a nice creamy consistency. With the polenta, you can make it a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner, up to you. And I've toasted off some walnuts earlier. We're just going to finish with those in there.
Take the chocolate.
Give it one last stir. So the polenta's done. Okay, the pork tenderloin's been in the oven about 10-12 minutes. Took it out. It's had time to rest. Let the proteins relax. keep the juices inside. If you take it out of the oven, slice it, all the water and all the juices run out, it becomes dry. So we've had it time to rest. The vegetables are nice and tender and sweet. Polenta is creamy and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and slice the pork. I'm going to take a nice bit of the polenta. It's nice and creamy with the cheese and everything. Right on the plate. It's very rich, so you don't want too much. It's for 2 people. So you're going to take the pork, lay this out on the plate, take some of the vegetables,
that looks nice and yummy.
and then just a little bit for garnish, just to give it a little bit of crunch, a little bit of the toasted walnuts.
That's still one of them.
Yeah. Make sure the plate is nice and clean, and we're done.
And we see them at the next break.
And now
To do the strawberries and the foie gras.
yep, I'll be right back.
Welcome back. The chocolate is now nice and cool, so you have a consistency more like a chocolate pudding. So it's much harder to move around, but actually this is the temperature you need for the dipping.
If you melt it and dip straight away, when you set them to cool, they'll get dull looking. And when you want the chocolate to be as shiny and vibrant like it is now, so that it looks more exciting to eat. If you just go ahead and don't wait for it to cool down slowly, stirring occasionally, you'll get these sort of flat looking strawberries, which is not too appealing. Now the temperature is quite cool to the touch, and you can go ahead and dip the strawberries in easily.
And all we need is just some wax paper. What here we put on this nice marble slab because it's nice and cool. And we actually take the strawberry and we pick it at the green, at the stem, so that we can actually dip the strawberry nicely. Please don't dip the whole strawberry completely, because you want to see a little bit of this nice red in it. This makes it really nice and creamy. And then you basically put it just on the baking paper and it cools it out immediately. You can actually use it straight away.
Let them set for a bit.
Now we're doing the starter, the foie gras with the cranberry and balsamic reduction. Here I have a coated pan. If you don't have a coated pan, you can use a little bit of oil, but just wrap the pan in, because the foie gras actually is quite fat. It has a lot of oil inside, and now it's easy. So foie gras, you can basically just pick any slices out, and you can use them as you want them. At the moment I'm only doing 2, just basically checking the heat. And we start with a slow heat. And it starts already. You need around 90 seconds on each side. You brown them, and basically foie gras is very, very quick. If it's a fresh foie gras, it's much faster than that, but it's a little bit more difficult to handle. Frozen is very easy and you have no waste. You can put it back into the freezer, take it in and take it out. So all we do is make sure, as you can see, I didn't use any oil. The foie gras already releases some oil and it moves around very, very easily. I'm just turning it onto the other side, just to brown it evenly. Later on, a lot of people ask me, how can you tell that the foie gras is finished because it's frozen? I didn't do anything to it. Basically the easiest one, if you have a little toothpick and you actually puncture the foie gras and feel if it's already through. So you can start on a side, but it's still frozen, so it's really still solid. going around.